Welcome in to the inaugural edition of the DNVR World Cup show. I'm your host, Mitchell Carroll, a.k.a. Merchel, a.k.a. really happy United fan after today. Gotta love it. And I am joined by just an all-star cast. Well, I can't say all-star after that reaction, so just normal star cast. Off of the producer's desk, sitting in the spotlight, got his own chair. My man, super producer Yaya. What's up, bud?
I had to buy 3 people to get on this chair today, just so everybody knows.
And you took no prisoners in that fight.
Now I need a rabies shot.
Oh no. Oh no, that was Blaze then for sure over there. To my right, we have the general manager of DNVR Sports.
Yeah, what an introduction.
Italian super fan.
Yeah.
With no World Cup team.
A man without a team.
I've seen
Andre
this.
Simone.
I've seen this at its peak. I've seen my team win it. I've seen 8 years of not being in it. I'm glad the U.S. is it. I have a team now, and it's this adoptive country of mine that I've lived in for so long. And wow, maybe I actually like this squad. Incredible. The biggest upset of all. Yes.
You actually?
I might like this squad. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
And of course, we have the art director for All City Network, the man himself, downtown, Duane Brown.
Downtown.
Man, I am excited to hear about Dre on board.
I'm on board.
He's on board.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. I hope you did not forget about Dre because he is on board.
Yeah.
We have a big old show to get into. We are going to kick off our World Cup preview with the U.S. men's national team and the other entrants from CONCACAF. But first, we have some news today from Rapids World. Two big old news drops first thing this morning. First was the list of unprotected Rapids available tomorrow when St. Louis picks its 5 expansion players in the draft. Not a ton of surprises, I would say, are available. The 2 ones I would have are Lucas Estevez, who is out of his loan deal, but has the buy option. So if he is selected by St. Louis, they can pick up the buy option. And then the other would be Philip Mayaka, of course, who was such a high draft pick, tons of resources put into it. His option was not picked up, and now he is available for pick by St. Louis. And then Danny Wilson, starting center back, spine of the team for so long, such a great communicator and distributor from the back, who's definitely had a rough go of it this season at times, but still surprising to see his name up for grabs. Yaya, what was your initial reaction to seeing that unprotected list?
The Rapids are trying to save some money,
Yes.
big money. Danny Wilson's probably gone, and I don't think St. Louis is picking him up, but if they made him available, that's probably a trade waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Which is usually what expansion drafts are in the MLS. It's just who you can trade and who you can get rid of real quick for a quick pick or some gam.
Yeah.
Lucas, that $1 million option to buy, I think if it was $200K less, he'd be staying.
Yeah.
But since the Rapids are depleted they don't have as much money as other clubs around the U.S., they're just trying to save some money, and the Brazilians are going to be out of here.
Well, and like St. Louis is throwing money around, like picking up a good starting outside back who has an offensive game. It's not crazy. I don't expect them to pick him up, but it isn't the craziest thing to leave him available for a team like that if you don't want to spend the money.
I mean, you're putting him out there to see if someone else takes that dangling carrot of the $1 million buy, right? So you're kind of banking on that. But yeah, I think Yaya's pretty spot on with the financials. And
what it means to me is it's a big sign that if the big money is coming down the pike, it is Giassi Zardes. Duane, would you agree with that?
Yep. I think that's who they're going to go with, which is scary for me, as I've said multiple times. There are so many tag-ons with that contract and money going to Columbus and everything else. That worries me a little bit, but in half a season, he almost had double-digit goals. And so, hey, man, if he wants to keep doing that, then and we've got the money, we don't spend it.
Just
Might
keep
as well spend it for
that
once.
Giassi and Diego combo going.
Yeah.
Run it back. Okay, the other thing that came down the line from the Rapids today was the end-of-year roster decisions. So they picked up the options. Diego Rubio, no doubter. Ollie Laraz, who was out all last season with the broken leg, no doubter. Abubakar Keita, who they traded for from Columbus at the start of the season, tore his ACL, pretty much a no-doubter, pretty cheap still. Anthony Marcanic, who had a nice debut and fizzled off, but still young, knows the system.
Especially with Lucas being gone, that's probably the way they're going to go with that.
Yeah. And then Abe Rodriguez, he of the talking shit in Portland at the penalty spot after the concussion to Yarby. Legend for that and nothing else.
He has such
some lessons were learned that night. Some lessons were learned.
He has like straight up Jorge Campos vibes.
Straight up, dude. He
like
is
without all the
G.
no offense, Abe, you're never Jorge Campos. That dude's an absolute legend, but it's Jorge Campos without the talent, literally a little bit,
and much shorter.
No, dude, Jorge Campos.
That's
is short.
true. You're right. About
Jorge
the same height.
There's a reason there's that comparison. And also, man, Jorge Campos was a striker at the same time. He led clean sheets and goals in Liga MX 1 year.
It's pretty dope.
That's wild.
The option that I didn't mention there, and it was the only one that I would say was surprise-ish, would be picking up Mikey B's option. It is a crowded wing. When you add in Brian Galvan coming back from injury, you still have Sam that you traded.
Do you really have
again.
Sam though?
I mean, he played a lot.
You're giving him money, but do you really
There's a
have
lot
Sam?
of people up front, and it seemed like an easy way to just shed some salary in a roster spot. Does anyone have a take on Mikey B coming back?
Mikey played well off Rubio and Zardes, man.
Correct.
He found a lot of space. Him and J-Lu were pretty dynamic at times running down the flanks. I did think he brought something extra. And, how long is it going to be till Yaya gets back?
It's about a year. He might not even play.
Right.
He probably won't play next season if I had to bet.
And how good is Galvan when he gets back? Like there are some injury uncertainties. Yeah. It was a year option, right? That
Correct.
They pick up.
Yes. So he's back for a year at least.
Run it back one more year with Mikey.
Great in the community. And we said it all season. There was an attacking four with Lewis and Barrios that you brought up on the outside with Zardes and Diego Rubio, and that was such a good four that seemed to do everything right except finish. Which again, that is an important part. That's a big asterisk, but it looked very good at times, and you think just running it back will produce more goals than it did this season in theory. So declined options, Mayaka. Oh, that is just what a disaster of a story that is. Michael Edwards and the old man Stephen Beitashour with declined option there. Although Beta is in talks to come back. Philip Mayaka though, number 3 overall draft pick, supposed to be this generational guy. Kenyan midfielder, short, never grew. He's one of the shortest people I've ever seen on a soccer field. Never grew at all when he got here. He just never. I think he was an available sub in a few games this year. Outside of that, we haven't seen Mayaka at all, and I think it's just time to let him be free.
So rumor does have it that when they traded up, that wasn't their target.
Whoa.
So I can see why he hasn't worked out. If that's not who were they expecting, they were trying to get another midfielder. They were trying to get somebody a little bit more dynamic. How you said, he's just too small and too weak to actually play in the MLS. Such an aggressive league that requires a lot of physical skill. He just didn't possess any of it. And I think that's especially when you have guys like Chacon who can play that midfield spot in the defender. You got Priso, you got Oli Laraz, and then you look even a little bit deeper and you got Hanya on Rapids too. You got Aguirre who got called up to the Honduras national team as well. Like there's just too much competition for him to actually break through.
Yeah, not a surprise, honestly.
Huge disappointment, though.
Huge disappointment. That's all you can really say. I had high hopes that he would find some sort of form with R2 this year. That never happened. He's out. Michael Edwards,
never panned out.
Yeah, never panned out. Beitashour is in talks. That was part of that press release. Was they are negotiating with Beitashour actively. So I do think he will be back as kind of the savvy vet who really held it down a lot.
Unsung hero.
Yeah, he was great this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Really good point there, Duane.
Especially if Lucas is gone, you need Beta at least back to fill in that spot in case.
Correct.
Just depth-wise, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So Clint Irwin out of contract, Zardes out of contract, Gutierrez and Lucas loans have ended. Specifically in that press release, Beta, Zardes, Edwards, and Felipe Gutierrez are in negotiations to come back.
There you go.
Felipe Gutierrez was just an absolute find and really saved that midfield towards the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I know Duane is a huge Felipe guy. You're pretty psyched to have him back?
Yeah. I would be super disappointed if we don't bring him back.
Right.
So, it's I don't know. This sounds off. It's not super often that we find somebody that good that fits in that well. Mm-hmm. So when we do that, it's a nice surprise because we do have a lot of swings and misses, and I thought this was great. So I hope that they figure that out and we get to keep them.
Well, I would expect it to. I don't think you throw in a end of year decision press release, hey, these 4 specific guys,
you're not going to make it happen.
Not the other 4 or 5 specific guys that are out of contract. If you don't mention them, but you mention those guys that you're negotiating, you hope that those guys are coming back.
They didn't get a graphic on Instagram, so
right.
the hopes are high.
I think of those 4, I would expect all of them to come back. Everyone else out the door, but we have plenty of time to talk MLS offseason stuff after. It is time to debut DNVR World Cup, and we're kicking it off with the U.S. men's national team, of course. We will be having watch-alongs for all the U.S. men's national team games. Right here, we will have the bar for all of the games available except for the 3 a.m. start times. Everything in Burgundy there, the U.S. games, is a watch-along, and also we will be doing a watch-along for the World Cup final. We'll be having watch parties for the Mexico games as well. So come on down to the DNVR Bar. We're partnering with the Colorado Rapids. It is a big old deal. It's going to be so much fun. We have Rapids merch and USMNT merch and DNVR merch downstairs available. We're blowing it all the way out, guys. So come on down to DNVR Bar. And I know this is one of those events in the world that sports fans, which we have a ton of here at DNVR, whether it's Broncos or Nuggets or Avs, don't really pay attention to a Gold Cup cycle, but World Cup comes up, right? And it's time to buy in.
Everyone's a fan,
right?
yeah.
It is winter, which will be different, but yeah.
It is strange. But
it's highly unusual.
We're here to prep you, the folks of DNVR, to be ready for the World Cup. And we're going to start just doing a full big old breakdown of the U.S. team. How they got here, though, right? Qualified after a 2-0 loss, which is kind of weird on the last day to Costa Rica, but they had the goal differential. They could have lost by 3 more and still qualified.
It was actually really easy qualifying.
Yeah.
For the 3 top teams, it was really they kind of cannibalized each other.
Even if it came down to the end, which it technically on the last match day it comes down, you can lose by 5 and still advance. So you advanced before that, just not technically.
Yeah, the real fear of, oh boy, are they not going to qualify again? Very limited.
Yeah, which was
very
nice.
Limited.
It was nice to watch that last one and not have that fear.
Yes, yes,
it was a nice change.
Wins included another 2-0 in Cincinnati over Mexico. They also had wins at home over Costa Rica, Jamaica, El Salvador, Panama, and Honduras. Did not pick up 3 against Canada. 1 draw, 1 loss. Canada, of course, finished top of the CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers.
Yeah, historic first qualification, right?
First qualification. So U.S. is here. We're going to break down the roster. Sorry, Kale, I was jumping around there a little bit. I know you threw up some graphics. Super producer Kale here with us, by the way. Didn't introduce him. Thank you, Kale. Shout out. Let's start with the goal, because goal to me was curious. Goalkeepers.
Let's do it.
On the roster, Matt Turner, Sean Johnson, Ethan Horvath. Ethan Horvath, of course, Highlands Ranch boy, came in and was it the Confederations Cup won at Mile High?
I think so.
So in his hometown.
First ever Colorado male soccer player at the World Cup, by the way.
There you go.
Had multiple females, never had
a
male soccer.
Shout out Mallory Pugh, of course.
That seems impossible.
It is, because Colorado produces a lot of talent, but he's the first ever born Colorado player. That's a male to play in the World Cup.
That's incredible. Congrats to Ethan.
The snub here, of course, is Zach Steffen, who for the last few years was the cup keeper for Man City, the backup to Ederson. He also played under Berhalter in Columbus, so pretty surprised that he didn't make the roster, right? You have Sean Johnson aging, but a great year in New York, and Matt Turner for Arsenal has been playing well. You follow all sorts of soccer leagues across the world, so do you think there's anything to a cup keeper like Steffen playing for a great team like City? To me, that seems like a natural fit for a national team going into a tournament.
It's nice to have a reliable goalkeeper. He's also been with that group for a while, right?
Yes.
Like of
Started.
all the omissions from the roster, he was one of the ones who was really like had been with this group for a while.
The most.
So yeah, and especially in goal, it's not always the worst choice to have kind of a veteran, especially with a really young group who can kind of, lead by example a little, remind the guys, tonight's an early night, okay? We play England tomorrow, or, pick your spots here.
I wonder, is nightlife going to be a factor in Qatar? Like,
No,
there's no booze, there's no going out, there's like...
But I mean, within, will they have an Olympic village of sorts? Right. That, things can get pretty lit. All dudes, but where are the wags going?
Where are the wags?
It's soccer wags.
We
come
haven't
along.
seen all the Mexico scandals in the last 10 years,
Whoa.
where it's all women being brought back when they shouldn't be brought back.
Classic.
Right, we got through COVID. You think Qatar's gonna stop us? Please.
They don't gotta wear a mask out there.
Like I don't know if you guys have followed the news lately, but
Oh my God.
regardless, it's Matt Turner's.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing for Arsenal.
And honestly, Zach
playing great.
Steffen, I don't think are in the spot. I think he wasn't he loaned out.
Yeah, he's down in the championship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he's in the spot. I think it's clearly Matt Turner.
Yeah.
I like that they're taking a little bit more reliable goalkeepers. I know Horvath has a pretty good record in penalty kicks, but if ever it comes down to that, you have a nice little backstop back there. But Matt Turner, if his toes don't freeze again, that's exactly who you want in net.
Yep.
That's all you got to hope, that his toes don't freeze again and you're all set.
Yep.
And I think that's the plan, is Matt Turner, and then I think Horvath, and I think even Berhalter may have said this yesterday, is that, with Horvath has shown that he can come in halfway through a match if there's an injury, or even start the next match. Just come in, having not been starting, and play pretty solid in front of the net. I think even with Steffen out, Sean Johnson is that veteran presence,
And he was great for New York.
Yeah, he's got that veteran presence, and what I've read and heard is that he's also like, I think he's one of those vibes assignments to the team. Like he's a good vibes guy.
Oh yeah,
and I don't
vibes.
I don't think anyone I don't think any of us expect for Sean Johnson. I hope he doesn't have to play.
Right. Yeah.
Obviously we don't want anybody to get injured or whatever that he would have to play, but I think he's going to be there to be that veteran presence and help the guys out and just bring solid good vibes.
Not as long of a break as some of the other MLS guys. If he were to step in, he made it to the conference
That's
finals.
a huge part of this.
So he wrote and they faced Philly. So it's like
Yeah.
it's not his fault his season ended a week earlier because Philly's amazing. So not the worst case if he plays. Horvath of course came in late against Mexico, and saved a penalty, not in penalty, saved a penalty to win the Confederations Cup. I think it's a very solid group. Matt Turner's the obvious starter.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely their second strongest group that they're taking to the World Cup.
Agree.
Like, position group, that's the second strongest one for sure.
Big agree.
That's a good one.
On to the defense. Starters. Here's what I have. We can quibble over the second center back, but I have Dest, Serginho Dest, Tim Ream, Walker Zimmerman, and Anthony Robinson.
Absolutely hate Walker Zimmerman.
So you got Walker Zimmerman, Nashville center back, big time MLS DP. You have Tim Ream at Fulham.
Tim Ream, a surprise
I
of that.
think Ream's going to start.
I would expect Ream to start.
Yeah,
I
the
don't
only
think
reason
he's going to start at Wales.
I think he will, and the only reason that Ream was called up was because of injury, or else Berhalter would have left him off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally the only reason why.
I still think he starts. I
There's
think
your
they
reliable
settle
old
in.
vet, though.
Yeah, he's a reliable
No,
vet.
I'm all for Ream.
Yeah.
Say Walker Zimmerman.
If you
They're
go,
gonna
okay,
fit
so
anybody.
obviously the other center
he's not
backs.
fast though.
But he's smart, dude. If you're in the Premier League and you're the main piece of a defense in the Premier League,
yes,
it's because you're elite. No matter which team, you could be at the bottom of the table, and if you're the main reason that you're like the main backstop of a team in the Premier League, you're one of the best to ever do it.
And you have Anthony Robinson play with him on that back line in Fulham.
Exactly, it's chemistry. It's chemistry 101.
I mean, it's a no doubter to me.
We'll have a bet. I don't think he starts against Wales.
Yeah, and if he
I'll take that bet.
Yeah,
right.
like I'm pretty sure.
Who do you have instead of Reem?
Do you have Aaron Long?
I do.
So Aaron Long, of course, is the coveted MLS free agent center back out of Red Bull.
Future Rapid. Aaron
Future
Long.
Rapid. If you noticed, did you guys notice when Tommy Scoops put up on Twitter that he's a free agent? The first team listed in free agency, he had Colorado Rapids. Just saying. Tommy Scoops thinking levels ahead, my guy.
You think it has anything to do with the Rapids' horrible defense?
Look.
Don't do this to me, guys. Don't get my hopes up.
All right. We won't get our hopes up.
Please don't
Long,
get my
of course,
hopes up.
is the other option. And Duane.
I'm going for Long for Aaron, man. Long for Aaron.
Yo.
I love it. I want Walker Zimmerman. And
No,
now
I do not, dude. I, with all due respect, if you have children, dude, I fucking hate Walker Zimmerman. Dude is an absolute, liability in everything he plays. He is not good. I can tell you this much.
Whoa.
He gets covered up by everybody he plays with. He is your worst center back that you can take.
To
right
me,
now.
he is the only sure thing starter on that back line. You
So-
talk me into anything else on the back line.
No,
except him.
it shouldn't be. I'm sorry. If that's who you're, I believe Walker Zimmerman
Here's some
has been covered
spice.
up, dude. So much. He's never played good against Mexico, so it's not even a Mexico thing. He gets burnt automatically. Chicharito has burned him multiple times.
That's true.
Vela has burned him multiple times. So has Lozano. If they can burn him, and I know how bad the Mexico team has been in the last couple of years, there's not much hope when you're facing England,
That's
which way
true.
faster
That's
guys,
true.
a little bit more technical guys. That's going to be the hard part for Walker.
Here's something I'll throw into that argument. England is not the team we have to worry about.
That's interesting. And we'll get to that eventually.
But it does sound like he's going to complicate playing with a higher line
Yes.
and playing
Yes.
with a faster pace.
Yeah.
And
I do think
you want to press all fields. Zimmerman's going to be a bit of an awkward fit, let's say.
I'd rather
than a
get Shaq
liability.
Moore in there, who's a little
Yeah.
bit faster, a little bit more agile. I think that would be the
he'd be
US
playing
best.
inside from the outside, but I do agree with you there.
So what's your 4? Then?
But I would actually play Robinson, Reem, Dest, and Shaq Moore.
Interesting.
Wow.
Cameron Carter-Vickers
Okay.
from Celtic is also on the bench.
Young.
But has looked pretty good in the couple last friendlies there. He featured and done pretty decent at Rangers. He's just interesting. Very young, though.
Yeah.
Very, very young. Surprising that John Brooks wasn't. Berhalter must hate John Brooks.
That's been
He is
confirmed
a
multiple
he
times.
is a
I think that's
starting
fairly
Champions
obvious.
League center back, and he hates John Brooks, and I don't get it. But this is the group you're going with. This is the group you're going with, and I think you need Tim Ream because everyone else that we just said is 24 or younger.
They're such kids, man.
The whole defense is young. You have to start Tim Ream.
Well,
So just to review, I want to hear everybody's 4 again.
Okay.
So
Okay, so you
Do
said
I really have to repeat myself doing?
yeah, you do.
Okay, go. Who do you got?
It's Sergino Dest,
Okay.
Reem, Robinson, and Shaq Moore. I'm a big Shaq Moore guy.
Interesting.
love that for you.
So he'd be playing inside from his outside right back spot.
Yeah.
My starters are going to be Serginho Dest, no doubter. Tim Ream, no doubter. Walker Zimmerman, no doubter. Anthony Robinson, and that right back spot to me could be, or that left back spot could be anybody. I think there's a lot of ways you could go with that. But those would be my starters.
Man, you've almost talked me into Aaron Long, but I think I'd side with Mitch and give out the same back 4. And boy, those wide backs are that's why you need Tim Ream. You need an adult in the room because A-Rob and Dest are really going to be
Offensive minded.
Yeah,
They'll be
they're
up
gonna
ahead of
get
some of the
pretty wild,
midfielders.
If you follow the
They're gonna
Rapids,
get
That's why I
pretty
think you're going to need the speed
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
come
if
back
you-
and chase, and Reem's not that guy.
well, Reem can just stay back. And
Yeah,
if
he can
gets-
just stay back. He
Like
just
literally,
pulls back,
don't
yeah.
run Reem. Just protect your area.
It's going to be weird not playing with a high line, though, because the rest of the team is so built for a high line, except for your center back.
Yeah, but the thing is, they have their midfield and their offense are so young and speedy that they
so
can
fast.
definitely play with that and they can recover easily.
agree.
So
I agree.
that's the advantage you have with the younger,
Yeah.
quicker guys
Right.
playing up front.
And we'll
Yeah.
get into that.
I'm going with, the only switch
Would be
is
mine, but
just
Long.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just Long for
Reem.
Yeah,
With
And I think-
Zimmerman.
I think we might
with
see that.
Zimmerman and Robinson.
I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if by the Iran
I'm saying
game
that
they
for
do
Wales. I'm
Oh.
not speaking about the whole tournament. I'm just saying for match 1 against Wales. That's who I'm
You would hope that by now your backline would be set in stone, and it's interesting that it's not. But
it's telling that it's not.
It is telling that it's not. Obviously, some injuries. Shout out to our guy, Rapids legend Sammy Vines, broken tibia. Got the start in that last set of friendlies. Looked like he could trend into and sneak into that last spot that Shaq got, but
Devastating.
Reggie Cannon also not available at outside.
He will be our
either,
next Colorado in
Hope
the
so.
World Cup.
Yeah, hope so.
Next time.
Hope
No
so.
kidding.
All right, moving on to the midfield, and this is where it really starts to get interesting. This is really where the big hitters are, right? This is Weston McKennie at Juve. This is Tyler Adams at Leeds. And then who I think is going to start, but we could talk about this last spot because there's a couple. But I think Yunus Musa is going to be the guy.
I love me some Yunus Musa, dude.
Oh, my God.
That dude.
We are all agreed on that.
I know. USMNT.
This is all Team Musa.
USMNT would be
Musa, dude.
USMNT Twitter would be losing its mind if he would have chosen England.
Oh God.
Because that dude is the prototypical England player.
Yep.
Like that dude is ultra talented.
So talented. Yeah.
You saw some highlights today, and you looked at me and you're like, I'm a Musa guy.
Yeah. I mean, he's an Arsenal Academy product, gets to Valencia on the Arsenal just lets him go and absolutely blows up this year under the tutelage of one of my favorite midfielders all time, Gennaro Gattuso, who's one of the ultimate bulldogs in world football. And I mean, his playmaking, his balance, his just IQ and ability to read. If you're trying to get hyped on Musa, go watch the highlights and cut-ups from his game against Getafe where he has 2 assists. It's just like his growth and the playmaking he brings to that midfield kind of is a different element that Tyler Adams or McKennie don't fully have. Like, he can be that deep line playmaker.
Yeah, McKennie's your classic box-to-box physical guy. Right? He's going to get his head on the ball in the box.
Can play a little wide, can play a little up front. Right. You want him between the lines, getting in the mix.
He's gonna be mucking it up.
He's going to be following Pulisic in.
Yeah.
You know, when Pulisic makes his move,
Right.
McKinney's going to go up and push up on
Yeah,
the
and I have such PTSD of Musa on that 2-0 loss to the U.S. As a Mexico fan, dude, he was all over the pitch. I saw that again. I was like, U.S. has a real one. He might be better than Gio Reyna.
No,
he might be better than Pulisic.
Yeah.
Dude has the
the guy.
potential to be like the guy for the U.S.
I agree.
Yep.
I
And
agree.
then the kind of unsung guy we haven't brought up is our guy, RK's favorite player. We got, Tyler Adams from Leeds.
He's got that dog in him.
Yo, you want to talk dogs on this team? You start the
dog,
list with Tyler Adams at the top.
All dog first team, I think. in
Yeah,
this
First
world,
team
for
all
sure.
dog.
Dude, Adams is just a baller.
Yeah.
Him and
He's
Musa together
sick.
are
Yeah.
just like they're scary for everybody that's
This
playing.
is
McKennie going,
like
McKennie,
it's fun.
obviously, I'm a Schalke guy. McKennie is my guy. Does have a little bit of a hamstring, so we might see a little Kellen Acosta in there early.
And Juve the last 2 years, he hasn't played his best football. That whole situation's been a
But
disaster.
Dallas Academy product jumps to the youth team. Schalke in Germany jumps to Juve. Great path up the U.S. men's national team. If he is healthy for this tournament, this could be his kind of breakout stage on the U.S. side.
Thank you to the Dallas metro area, which is really
Shout out.
carrying the heavy load. The Dallas metro area should get the respect the Cowboys don't deserve. The Dallas metro area as a farm system for the U.S. men's national team should be given.
Just so you know, what Colorado is to the women's team, the women's national team is what Dallas is to the men's national team.
Absolutely.
100%.
And I'm contractually obliged to drool over anyone who came out of that farm system. We know this, right?
Drew Moore, number one on the list.
And I mean, and we haven't even talked about Kellen Acosta is going to be
Kellen.
a nice little, you know.
So the bench, Kellen Acosta,
Miss you, Kellen.
Luca De La Torre, Christian Roldan from Seattle got in there. I thought that was a little
vibes.
Yeah.
He's not gonna. Yeah, this is
Vibes.
the end. He is the
He's
end
the
of
other
the
vibes
26, right? So it's not that we're gonna see a lot
What's
of him.
his role?
He's dog.
He's just dog.
like
He's a
He
full
he
dog.
leads
Full
XP and dog, bro. Like he's a dog.
I love that.
Have you
Dog
ever
per
like
minute might be Roldan.
He might be the person that actually he might be like Luis Suarez and just bite somebody in the World Cup.
You never know.
Everybody loves him.
Yes.
Like,
Pound for pound, he's the most dog, huh?
He's the most lovable dog.
We said that Tyler Adams of dog. This dude like out dogs like Tyler
Another.
Adams.
I wouldn't call him dog,
Adams is
but
on
just
the pitch dog. I think Roldan is
just all around dog.
just all around good
All
vibes
time,
dog.
never turns off the dog. The other interesting guy on the bench would be Brendan Aronson.
Oh.
Leeds. No?
To me, he's more of an upfront guy. I was waiting to talk to
so
him.
So it's interesting that he was included.
I was going to go, Luca de la Torre!
Sure. They included him specifically as a midfielder, which makes me think he's going to be in that 10-ish role.
Which is what he should be, that 10 role.
Or wide, right?
Yeah, he can go wide. He can play all over.
Like, you want him more in the front three than you do the midfield.
Yes.
Dude, if you want to go insane, you just put Musa in that 6th spot. You just make him play that defensive midfielder. And then you bring up Aronson and Gio Reyna up there at the 2 double 10s. And you're like, that attack is unstoppable, even if you have shitty strikers.
Go ahead and get your Luca de la Torre takes off real quick.
No, I mean, very technical, different element. Really good in tight spaces.
Yes.
Aside from Musa, I don't think they have a ton of guys in tight spaces. That's not their game. Like, U.S. isn't going to play 90 minutes of tiki-taka, but if you did want a little more playmaking in tight spaces and, like, passing ability, Luca de la Torre is not a bad option.
He looks very comfortable on an international 11. In the limited time we've seen him this summer with the club, he's looked good out there.
Yeah, I'm playing at
I'm not saying a major impact or anything, right? He's not leading in assists or goals or anything, but there's a comfortability you need in a midfield in international play, in tournament play, in knockout play.
If you kind of just want to, if you just kind of want to compare him to somebody that's been around, like Darlene Ogbe.
Yes.
That's very reliable. You know where you're getting, precise. Guy's gonna come and go, and you're not gonna get a lot of mistakes.
Yeah,
so him and
Kalen, forward, a little back.
Him and Acosta play very similar actually. So like if you pair them together, you're not gonna get any mistakes, but you might also just not get the playmaking you need out of that midfield.
This midfield's so sick.
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
Just put Musa. We'll get into that.
Ryan's just saying you gotta start Aronson in the pen.
Leeds guy wants Aronson to start.
4-2-3-1. The formation to get your best, as many of your best players on the pitch is probably a 4-2-3-1.
With Aronson at the 10, yes.
We agree.
I put Aronson and Gio Reyna at double 10s, and then watch out. You just can't stop the
So
team.
you want the old Christmas tree 3-2-1?
I want a 4-1-2-3.
4-1.
Whoa, too much. Too much going on. That's a lot.
Which not that far off the 4-3-3.
Exactly. It's not that far. You're just kind of inverting the midfield.
Right. That's the most non-Bearhalter.
It's not because it's creative.
Aronson is going to play.
That's our next note. We don't want Bearhalter.
To answer RK, like Aronson is going to get a lot of run. I expect him to be that 60-minute sub to come in and mix things up, especially losing or tied. He's going to come in. He's going to be the agitator on that field. Not because he's a dog, but because he is up in your biz. He never stops running, never stops pressing, is cheeky as a motherfucker.
Full court press.
The American Messi,
man.
Dude, he's so sick. I'm excited about that. No big snubs for me in this midfield.
Philly's
Maybe
finest.
you could have Malik Tillman over Roldan. Doesn't really matter because that last midfield spot's not going to see the
they're not playing.
Roldan is like that's the dad of that group.
He's
vibes. You need a dad in every group, basically.
Yep. Tillman has played a decent amount with this team, so I was surprised it wasn't him over Roldan, but I get it. Not a big snub. Nothing to really worry about there. All right, on to the attack, and this is obviously
who's your before we go.
Who's my midfield?
Who's your starting three for match 1 against Wales?
McKennie, Adams, Musa.
Yeah, that's
locked in.
You start those three all the time.
Anything else, we go to the Capitol, we protest.
Correct.
Straight up.
Unless it's my three. We just put Musa, Reyna, and Aronson and watch chaos and lose in that final third.
That sounds insane.
Okay, let's go on to
Gio back is like an intriguing, pull in case of emergency option.
Dude, you just have Gio Reyna. Like, again, PTSD as a Mexico fan, dude.
Like, terrible.
So.
All right, let's go on to the attack. We'll start outside, which is going to be on the right side of this graphic that super producer Kale just brought up for us.
Beautiful. These are beautiful.
You are going to start. Shout out Duane on these
graphics,
graphics,
man.
Duane.
Great job.
Just amazing. Christian Pulisic's going to start. No doubter. Captain America. The chosen one.
Left wing.
Left wing. It is his, period. No questions asked.
He's earned it.
Gio Reyna, who is now at Barca. Ever heard of it?
Gio Reyna, dude. I'm a huge Gio Reyna fan, man. I'm so glad that he wasn't like a Mexican international option too, because I'd be pissed. I'd be really pissed. He wasn't an option for Mexico, which makes me happy.
There you go. And then on the bench, of course, you have Jordan Morris, Seattle Sounders, and Stanford legend. And well, legend is a stretch. You're right.
1 foot the most 1 foot dominant on the whole squad.
And then Andre's guy, and also my guy, Andre's guy, Timothy Weah on the bench as well.
Timmy Weah, I saw his dad's bang goals at San Siro. I went to school with his kids, not Tim, who is obviously like
22, 23,
like 30 years younger than me.
His dad is the greatest, one of the greatest African players of all time.
First ever African to win the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
At AC. But no, he's, without getting into hot takes, by a mile the deepest forward group the U.S. has ever brought to a World Cup.
Can we say deepest winger group?
Yes,
please.
Because I don't think their forward group is deep. I think their wings are like super deep.
I like that.
That's yes.
The question,
that's an important point. Very important.
But we've come a long way from if Deuce doesn't play,
easily.
like we're done.
If Landon Donovan isn't on the field, we're screwed.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with this group. Pulisic needs to put the cape on, right? Like, he is the unquestioned leader of this team, unquestioned top guy on this team. What do we, are we raising the expectations for this World Cup considering he hasn't played in one? Or is it fair to be like, you are the guy, go be the guy?
I think he's been the guy. You know, like, I don't think that's a new thing for him to have to think about. Like, I think the entire qualifying and even last time when we didn't make it, like, Pulisic was already coming up, and being the face of the squad and the one everyone was talking about. So I don't think this is like an overwhelming new thing for, a mantle that's fresh and new for him to take on. I think it's been there for him for a while.
Sure.
So no, I don't think that's a pressure thing that's going to change. I think it's expected at this point.
I frankly wouldn't even put that level of pressure on him. I think that, like, at different points, Gio was supposed to be the big superstar.
True.
Yep. True.
I think all these guys have had their moments, and Pulisic has really, struggled to find some time at the tippy-top clubs. He's really just Chelsea the last 2 years, which, again, it's not that different from McKennie having some struggles at Juve, though playing more.
Starting.
And I just think, look, there's a lot of talent. That's why you rely on this depth. I don't think it's necessarily you need one guy to create the magic, but you need one of these guys to have some moments every game
to become the guy.
Yes.
You are looking for a guy here. Pulisic got you to this point. Does that mean it's not Reyna's turn to be the guy? Is it?
Could it be Tim Weah?
Could it be Weah?
I just think Pulisic was pigeonholed into something he's not. I don't think he's Captain America. I think he's a really talented player. I think the one thing that he has over everybody else on the squad is he's been more consistent at the national level than most of these guys. But I don't think he's the most talented. I think he's just been the one that's been able to crack how to keep doing it at a high level. And I think that's the thing that we got to realize, that he might just be the leader because he can consistently be good and consistently give you something that the rest of the guys can't. The rest of the guys are very up and down, and you just got to make sure.
High floor.
Exactly. Like super, that's the thing with Pulisic. Super high floor. Everybody else might have a higher ceiling, but yet his floor is so high that you know where you're going to get.
Right.
While Weston McKennie has been injured. You have Timothy Weah, who's when he flashes to be top, elite. But you don't get that consistently while you do with Pulisic, and that's why you rely on him.
Yeah. I'm so excited to watch Pulisic in a World Cup. He's been electric in big games for the U.S.
I think
saw him here at the Dick, put 2 goals in a World Cup qualifier in the last cycle that they didn't make it. But
he got dicked down?
He dicked down. Who was it? Trinidad and Tobago. He gave it to him good.
Sorry, Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, we're in interest of time because we're going to hit some other stuff. Let's move to the striker position. Jesus Ferreira, likely starter. Bench, you have Josh Sargent at Norwich and Haji Wright at Erastapol. This one blew up the DNVR Rapid Slack last night.
We got people.
We got some people talking
know?
about asking about Pepe in the comments. If you want, you can throw any of those up there. And RK just like said, no Pepe, that's all it was. And then it was an avalanche. Everyone is taking sides. I don't think it's crazy that Pepe wasn't included. He's had a nice season once he dropped down a level from Augsburg down to the Arrivederci. But he was goalless in his time in Germany. He did have 3 goals for the U.S. team. Can't take that away from him. Doesn't really fit the profile of what you need in a tournament in terms of being a physical force in the box. I don't think Pepe's the craziest snub. I don't know. That's just me. I'm going to turn it to the guys who have the stronger opinions, a.k.a. downtown Duane Brown, to wax poetic here on Pepe really quick.
I when I was thinking about the announcements, I had Pepe on the list for sure. I think if Berhalter was not the coach, Pepe would be on here and Ferreira would not be on here.
Why is that? Why do you think Ferreira shouldn't be here?
I think if you've ever watched U.S. men's national team soccer play with Berhalter as coach, you know that Jesus Ferreira is his guy.
Yep.
So
he did have 18 goals and 6 assists in the MLS this season.
Yeah, but again, like we talked about
he was
last
great.
night, I'm going
this
with
season. Fantastic.
We talk about the hot hand, and this is coming in on not a lot of time to train or be with your team like you are all season long in your league. This is someone where you have to come in and hit the pitch running, and I'm going to go with the hot hand and the hot boot. And that is not the guy who has not scored in his last 7 games, which is Ferreira.
Sure. I mean, I read that same article where it was the last 7 games he's scoreless, including the 2 he played for the men's national team in there. But if you want to talk hot hand, and he was catching some flack in our discussion last night, but Haji Wright leads all Americans in goals in 2022.
By the way, that's the worst argument. You're going to tell me Pepe, his current form doesn't count.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, no, but like there was an argument like that form doesn't count. It was too late, a little bit too late.
That's what I'm saying.
Wright is also like barely getting going, barely in the last 2-3 months.
He has 20 goals in 2022, which is more than any other American.
Again, that's what I think.
Period.
I think my biggest issue
9
is
goals
Haji
this
Wright.
year, 8 from the spot.
My biggest thing is Haji Wright, man. Ricardo Pepi has proven himself over and over again. I would have
over and over again.
Yeah, he has. Like he did. He proved himself all year with Dallas. He did great with Dallas.
He had 13 goals with Dallas. Yes, it was a very good season.
Exactly.
With
That's more than Jesus Ferreira had, by the way. Had this last season.
He had 18. Jesus Ferreira had 18 this season.
How much did
13?
13.
Pepe only has 20 goals ever.
Dude, all I'm saying is like Pepe is also taller. If you want, Jesus Ferreira is not gonna mesh well with whoever you put at the 10 because Jesus Ferreira plays like Rubio.
He does. He plays back. He drifts.
He's a false 9. So unless you're gonna play
like really technically sound.
Exactly.
Like
so if you want
beautiful right foot,
you need another striker to pair with him, and that's where Sargent comes in. My biggest issue was not with Ferreira. My biggest issue would have been with Wright. I think P-Folk or
well, I'll tell you why Haji Wright's on the team. I'll tell you right now. He has 9 goals this season alone, 20 on the year.
In Turkey.
8 of those are from the spot. 8 of those are from the penalty spot. If you are in a knockout round and you need to you have some subs late after 120 minutes of playing, he is going to come in and convert a penalty no matter what. And I really think your last striker spot, I think that is why Berhalter has him.
That's why he's there.
He's a big guy.
Yeah,
he can receive the ball well. He's good at passing it across the box. He's good at controlling it in traffic. He can attack the goal from either side with either foot. He loves to keep the ball low, which is something a lot of big strikers love to just send a rocket in. He's very good at touching it into the corners. I think the Haji Wright dismay is kind of crazy, and I think what you could have done is just drop Roldan and brought Pepe along too. Absolutely. And then no one's complaining because I don't think either one of them are going to play that much.
You need a Jordan Morris either.
Exactly.
Dude, I'm a huge Jordan Morris hater. I thought
you're not going to find any Seattle love over here.
Well, no, because I do love Christian Roldan, dude. Sure. I would have actually preferred Roldan over Pepe for the one reason of leadership. You need somebody older in that room.
Yeah.
Just my thing with Pepe is like, I think Pepe proved more with the USMNT than Wright, which is what I mean.
Sure.
And I think I don't have an issue with Ferreira coming along because I think Ferreira has a role, especially if you pair him with Sargent. With you have a false 9 and you have Sargent who's just like a striker that can put it in from anywhere, that's a perfect pairing for me.
But do you think that like Berhalter's really going to put 2 strikers up?
I don't think so. But like the thing is that now you have that option.
But that's why I just don't think that's going to be an option. Though.
But it's now an option as a sub. Let's say things are just not going your way. You need some offensive power. You need 3 points to qualify to the next round. What do? You take out maybe Tim Weah. You put in a Sargent, and now you got 2 elite strikers who can help you. And you have maybe that would make Ferreira maybe going to the 10 role a little bit, which would help like an Aronson that would help out whoever's that Gio Reyna, whoever's playing that 10 role, and they can create a lot more and get way more attack there.
I will say Ferreira played extremely well off of Areola on the wing at Dallas this year. He's playing with now drastically better wings on the national team. It makes sense with his play style and who is your best people in attack to have a Gio Reyna and a Pulisic on either side of him who can get up to that line and send it back to the top of the box to a Ferreira. It's interesting. This is the weakest position group. Striker is the weakest position group by far. You can say, and people, Pepe did get a shot. He started the last game the U.S. played before the World Cup.
He started more than anyone else the last 2 years up front.
And
that's what's weird about
he scored 3 goals, guys. It's not like he scored 10 goals. He scored 3 goals. He scored 3 national team goals, and we're acting like this guy has gotten the shaft. He's gotten 3 senior team goals.
Look, goals.
How many did Ferreira score for
I think we're getting too caught up in production.
That is your argument.
I think production is not ultimately what's driving this because you look at their production. None of them were doing anything a year ago.
Zero.
And this season, Pepe's scoring in Eredivisie. Haji Wright is blowing up the Turkish league, and Jesus Ferreira blew up the MLS.
Correct. Yeah. All were very good.
It's more skill diversity, which is what you're finding. Is Jesus Ferreira is different from any other striker you have. Haji Wright is different from any other striker you had. Pepe, you could argue, is fairly similar to what Sargent brings to the table, or what.
And I think Sargent's the better version too.
Yeah, absolutely. Or what a Tim Weah can kind of bring to you if you move him from the wing to... Yeah. I mean, they're all different. I think Pepe's got a little more of a knack as his goal scorer. Maybe not than Sargent, but than Tim Weah regularly. But I don't think it's production. I think it's more diversity. And like Ferreira offers you different lineup matchups. Haji Wright offers you different lineup matchups. It's just...
To me, when I was looking at that announcement, Ferreira was the only lock. Whether or not people think he deserves it, to me, you put up 18 and 6.
More of a lock than Sargent for you?
Huh? I think he was the lock, yes.
Yeah, especially by the way that Berhalter looked at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, have you ever seen like your crush across school? Like that's literally how Berhalter saw Ferreira.
Yeah, I'm just saying for you personally, like not for Berhalter.
All right, I want to get in these last things real quick.
So what's your starting 3? Who are your 2 wingers and your striker?
Well, it's Pulisic, Reyna, Ferreira for me, for sure.
Yeah, that's literally the only 3 that's.
And if you're losing, you bring in.
Mine's totally different. What's yours?
I would go Pulisic, Sargent, Weah.
That's mine.
So you put Reyna as like the super sub off the bench?
Yes.
Interesting. I don't think any of those are wrong.
I mean, honestly, to me, Aronson's the super sub, and then Reyna's like super sub too.
It makes me mad.
Bring them both in at the 60 mark.
It also makes me
let
really
them just
upset
run around for 30 minutes.
If
and get weird.
If neither Gio Reyna or Aronson start, that sucks.
Weird.
If neither of them start, Gio Reyna or Aronson sucks, man.
It is
You need the most dynamic. Those are the 2 most dynamic players you have.
Yeah, I think you have to keep Reyna out there for as many minutes as possible.
Exactly. You need one of those 2 out there because they bring a lot of the same skill set and
Man, why
creativity.
not? I mean, we talked about this a little bit. Just put Weah at striker. Just put him up. Let him play that kind of... And then you still keep Reyna and Pulisic. I don't know. That's where we're at here. See, can someone remind me what Jordan Morris did during the qualifiers that was memorable? Nothing. Jarrett. Nothing. Jordan Morris is like the All-American kid, went to Stanford, went to the MLS, didn't do the European club system, and I think U.S. soccer loves him.
He was in the mix for a long time to sign in England.
And then he said
for sure. And he said no, and
I
I just think that U.S. soccer thank you for doing that and staying in America, and I think that's why he's forever going to have that roster spot.
If there's a veteran in this group, the adult in the room, it's him, though, right?
Yeah, he's also just a thick, big dude that can mix it up in the box late if you need a goal. Not the craziest addition. I don't know. I think you could have done better. But honestly, American attack right now is just kind of, these are the best you have. It's not great. So that is the positional breakdown for the U.S. team. We're going to quickly jump. I just want to hear you guys. What do you think? This is the best U.S. team since blank. For me, it's 2010. 14, Landon didn't get the call. 2010 with the memorable win over Tunisia at the end. Lost to Ghana in the knockout stages. But that was Howard. That was Dempsey. That was
Michael Bradley, right?
Michael Bradley, Altidore. These are like
Jermaine.
these are guys we grew up with. Yeah, Jermaine Jones mixing it up in there. This was my personal favorite team, and I think this is the biggest mix of like European club guys playing at a really high level and talent and right age to be playing in a tournament. We are on the young side, but still have some
young
guys in that entering prime zone in McKinney and Pulisic and those guys. So I think that's the team you can go back to, the best U.S. team since then.
I mean, it has to be.
It could even go farther. Honestly, you could make an argument this is the most talented team we've fielded in a World Cup,
Sure.
top to bottom.
I don't think we can say that yet.
No, they have to argue. They have to do it, but
On paper, yeah.
yes,
Talented, yeah.
you've
Most
never
European
had
based.
guys playing in higher
Right.
leagues and better
Right.
better teams like this U.S. team has.
The most talented teams almost always lose.
Yep, 100%.
Belgium.
Gotta
We need
have that dog
dude.
in
We
you.
need that dog.
I even think of like the Italy teams that should have won World Cups that were more talented than the ones that did falter.
That 06 Italy team was not super
No.
talented.
It wasn't as good as 02 or 98.
It was not, but
yeah.
Then you
Hey,
just hope
they
they
did
can
it.
mix it up.
So they're cemented in history.
Yeah.
Who wants
you
to
just
throw
need
out
structure.
best case for this U.S. team? Absolute. Everything goes right. Who wants to take this one on?
I've said it multiple times. Semifinals.
That's what I said too. You catch Qatar or one of those weaker Group A teams in the first knockout stage, have a crazy upset where Pulisic bags a hat trick, and all of a sudden you're in the Final Four. Before that catches up to you.
That's
Before
best-
you're facing
yeah,
an
best
Argentina
case, yeah.
or a something
More
like that.
than the Elite Eight sounds ambitious to me.
Oh, no. I don't think it's going to happen.
I'm just saying, even semi seems like, I'm not ready to go there yet.
I think semis is the perfect because this team is young, it's quick, it's fast. A lot of these elite top tier teams are getting older. They're not. France is not taking
Right,
Pogba or
right.
Kante.
Yeah, no Kante
And
or
it's like
Pogba,
you're-
yeah.
These
True,
squads are
there's no
depleted.
contender that's like, oh, they're unbeatable. you know?
Exactly. It's
Belgium's the only complete team to me.
the one to me that like could actually put up like punch for punch would be really entertaining is Spain.
Yeah.
They're both young, both quick.
Yep.
Just Spain has better tactics, and I
Sure.
think
Of
the
course.
U.S. would
Of
get
course.
beat.
Yeah.
But that would be a really fun, just one-on-one, quick little like back and forth.
I will say this group has the talent, the structure, the athleticism, and most of all, the ability to play without the ball to where if you do get in a knockout stage and you're the underdog, no one wants to play you.
No.
Because these guys will run you ragged and they've got the talent up front to make one or two spectacular plays and boom, all of a sudden you're down one and these guys like won't stop running.
Exactly.
They'll just like press you into your fucking goal. And that's what makes me excited.
Counterattack. They're going to
Yes.
counterattack a
Yes.
lot this World
Yes.
Cup.
Okay.
Yes.
Worst case is obviously Wales comes
Wait,
out. and
what's
shows
what's
you what's
Dwayne's best scenario?
I mean, yeah, I think that's good. I think that's a good. That would be great. Like
Sure.
that would be.
It's
super
never
great.
happened before.
Dwayne's
Yeah.
like, win the
Like-
damn thing.
Yeah.
That's the best.
I mean,
scenario.
it's just like
I
such
don't
a
know what
weird-
you're
every
doing
given
right
Sunday
now.
up
Such a
there.
weird
Right.
question. It's like,
That's
what's
a
the
weird
best? Well, best
question.
case scenario
It's a
would
weird
be
question.
win the World Cup and they all come to DNVR and buy me pizza.
Let's
Like,
go.
That would be a best case because we're just making shit up.
I'm not celebrating that, even if they buy me
Let's
pizza.
go. Worst case is Wales comes out and big dogs you. England figures it out, and you have nothing to play for, and you just kind of show up and lose to Iran, and you get no points.
Yeah, worst case is the two games where you have to win, playing in possession, really struggling.
Yeah.
Super high variance team.
Yeah.
It might
This,
be.
if you
Yeah.
told me it's
Yeah.
0 points, if you told me it's 9 points, I believe you both ways.
Yeah.
I want to go down the line right now. I'll wrap it up with this, and we'll get into CONCACAF and the contenders next week. If you are predicting where this U.S. group ends up at the end of the group, 3 games played, you only get 3 games. And I think, we kind of lose that when we're talking about roster building and stuff. You are guaranteed 3 games. You are putting out what you think is your best version of 3 games. Where does this U.S. team finish after those? Downtown Duane Brown, we start with you.
I think we draw Wales, we lose England, we beat Iran.
So you're saying 4 points. 4 points may get you in on goal differential?
I think goal differential is what
you
it's
have to
come down
smoke Iran by like 5 goals probably to make it in at that point.
This is not going to be easy, and I think it's going to be a very close, like exciting for us because we're all going to be nervous, sitting on the edge of our seats. But with the way, and we'll talk about this next time, but with the way that Iran and Wales play, it's going to be very I think very low scoring, tight.
Andre, what do you got?
I think they get. I'm going 5 points, second spot, and they get into round of 16.
Perfect.
I'm going on 9 points. I think they sweep the group stage, and I think they get.
Is this a troll? What's
no.
going
Like
on
I'm being
right
for real.
now?
Like I just don't think England has it. I think Wales is kind of old.
Love that.
And I just think
England doesn't have it.
Yeah, and the thing
it's
is like
never coming home.
Yeah, it's the thing is just the youth. The youth to me always get to me because when you're so young, you're dumb and you think that you can win anything.
Facts.
And that's what this team is. It's so young and dumb that it's just not afraid that it's going to go all out. And I think they're just not going to take anything for granted because they've been away from the World Cup for 8 years. They know the pain. They want to bring it home. I don't think they're experienced enough, but I think they're young and dumb enough to at least completely sweep the group stage.
Somebody call USA Soccer Marketing. Yaya's got the new tag. It's USA
I don't know how I can
dumb.
beat that. I don't know how I can beat that. I think it's 7 points. The draw comes either. I think Iran is ironically the draw there at the end, but I think, you know what? Wales has Bale, who just had one of the most legendary goals in a playoff setting ever. England is a dumpster fire.
Love it.
I think they beat Wales. I think they beat England. Draw with Iran, but it doesn't matter because you got 7 points in the bag there.
Love it.
And then you get to face the second team in Group A, and we can get into that next week. But that's like a pretty nice reward. So we'll see there. That's going to wrap it up for our stuff
World
here.
Cup stuff, man.
I really do think England's not even going to make it out of the group, actually.
Let's go, Yaya. Let's go. I love this.
It's coming on.
Yaselina, indeed.
Next week, CONCACAF Corner with Yaya, contenders, bets. We're going to fully flesh out the rest of the field. But yeah, thank you, Andre, for joining us. You can catch him on bets. You can catch him on the DNVR Denver Sports Podcast. Catch him on the Fantasy Show. And just around here on the tailgate. Favorite show
Great
on
stuff
the
from you guys all season long on PIDS, man. I cannot wait to do all this World Cup stuff. Going to be amazing.
Absolutely. Downtown Duane Brown, you got anything to plug over there?
Get to DNVR Bar for all of our World Cup matches, partnering up with the Rapids. There's so much going on. There's a schedule again. Thanks, KO. Watch parties for all of the USA-Mexico matches will be open from 6 a.m. on for all of those matches throughout the whole tournament. Like Mitch said earlier, merch from Rapids, USMNT, DNVR, right down to pint glasses you can buy and keep bringing it back for the whole tournament to get $2 off of every drink after you buy it.
It's an incredible deal.
Not
Chef
bad.
Daniel's got some smoking
Yo, the brunch is
menus
fire. Bam, 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 bam.
You're missing out if you don't get here. Come hang out with us.
Yeah, you got a plug?
5-star review anywhere you hear us. If you don't got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. Give this video a like. Follow us on DNVR_World Cup. We are going to be having rollout World Cup content. Let us know what you want to hear. Let us know what you want to watch. We'll try to accommodate as much as we can. And we're always here to help out and learn about soccer.
Shout out to the homies at Avaka TV. Of course, if you haven't seen it yet, get over there. They will be showing 100 invisible threads with the DNVR crew that went over to Serbia. It is a 90-minute documentary. It's one of the coolest pieces of sports media I've seen in a very long time. And then just get over to Avaka TV. We got the most regional content for the lowest price for sports in Colorado. That's Avs, Nuggets, DU, CSU, UNC, and MSU. Go Roadrunners. Shout out. Get over to Ivaka.tv/DNVR. It's $25 a month plus a $5 receiver fee.
Do it.
They are the homies. They sponsor us.
So easy to set up.
It's
Dre and I set it up in less than 5 minutes yesterday.
And you are watching your teams.
Yep.
Do it. They truly rule. Thank you, Ivaka. And more important than everything these guys said, and more important than this whole podcast really, is up the USMNT.